Hello everybody and welcome back to FX Street. My name is Akash and today we're going to be taking a, a big picture outlook on Bitcoin and discuss what's happening with it, what could happen in 2023 as 2022 comes to an end, right? We basically have like another 11 days. So yeah, before we get into any of that details, please make sure to go ahead and give us a follow on Twitter at FXS Crypto. And if you enjoy the content that I put out, you can give me a follow as well at Mangyako with a zero at the end. Right, make sure to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any important updates that we produce. So there's quite a few things I'm going to be discussing today, and the guide for whatever we're going to be discussing will be this particular. Oh, there it is. Hold up. Yeah, it'll be this particular article, which is yet to be published, right? So the way we're going to be discussing this is we'll start off with a 3-day time frame outlook on what's happening with Bitcoin, and then we dive deep into different aspects. Right, we're going to be touching on the short-term outlook, and then we're going to look at the state of miners, and then on-chain metrics and what they're indicating, followed by my take on the big picture outlook of Bitcoin and what to expect and where to accumulate and where Bitcoin price could head going into 2023, and some predictions that I believe will happen for Bitcoin. All right, so let's start with the short-term outlook. Right, I've been bullish on Bitcoin ever since I think November 9th. That's when we had like a massive crash, and since then Bitcoin price has basically rallied 30%, if I'm not wrong. Let me check. So roughly 19% is how much Bitcoin price has rallied since then. And the reason for my bullishness was basically the bullish divergence they see here, where RSI produced higher highs and the price produced lower lows. And while this particular outlook was interesting, it kind of lacked the momentum that it needed to go up and retest a 19,000 level. Right, all along my thesis has been that we go up, retest 19K level, and then maybe if we get rejected, then we could potentially go down to this macro bottom area that I've marked out here. Or if we flip 19K and 20K, then there's a potential that we could break above this declining trend line and kickstart an uptrend. But so far, it has not worked out so great because the price has been extremely choppy. Maybe if we had another down candle, then we would have seen a perfect buy signal here for Bitcoin. And every time Bitcoin price has seen a buy signal on a 3-day time frame, it has turned out fairly well, except over here when it was a full-blown downtrend. But regardless, right, we're still looking at this, and the outlook still is in play. But a few things have changed, right? So let's take a look at what's changed. Right, so on a 1-day time frame, I've already described it. I've already put out a tweet here as to what the plan going into 2023 will be. It's pretty simple, right? We currently have equal lows formed here at 15,462. We kind of, so there's two scenarios, right? We either sweep these lows and then kickstart another run up to this blue line here at 18,230, or the chop fest area here extending from 19,000, roughly 19K to 20K. Right, this is the first scenario, which is pretty bullish. Right, the bearish scenario would include if we break below 15,462 and flip it into a resistance level, in which case we will again reach the macro bottom levels that I've marked out here. Right, these macro levels basically extend from 13,575 to 11,898. While again, like when I mentioned macro levels here, or maybe in this particular chart here, I'm being extremely conservative, and I feel like 11.8K, roughly 12K, is a conservative level. But if you look at this chart here with volume profiles, you can clearly see that like after this particular volume profiles here, after 15 if we lose 15.5K roughly, right, there's no support here with the exception of this 13,575 level, and even that is not that great, right? So the only place where we get good support is around 11,898, but if we break that, then we could potentially retest the point of control of 2022, which is at 9.5K roughly. So for now, the bullish outlook includes a sweep of the equal lows formed here, followed by a retest of 19K to 20K. And a breakdown of 15.4K would lead to a retest of the macro bottom levels. But the third scenario includes a bullish one, and it will come into existence or come into play if we flip the 20,000 psychological level, in which case you can expect Bitcoin to head up to 25K, which is a psychological level. If the price continues to have a lot of momentum there, or it doesn't form a double top here, then there's a pretty good chance we go up to 28K. Now, the significance of 28K level I've talked about in a lot of other videos, but let me briefly go over why 28K is extremely important, right? So you can see on a 3-day time frame or a 1-week time frame, the FVG is around 29K, just $1,000 above 28K. And to top it off, we have just a sec, BTC USDT. Oh, my bad. There you are. Right, we have the CME gap here extending from 27K to 28.7K. So another reason why 28K is an important level. And to top it off, the midpoint basically is around 32K. So anywhere from 28K to 32K is an important place for a dead cat bounce to form a local top. Right? If there is a dead cat bounce that does occur, then there's a high chance that it forms a local top between 28K and 32K before we ultimately head down, right? So this particular run up, right, it kind of reminds me of this minor a local top that we formed in 2019, where it did feel like the start of a bull run, the way the price kind of progressed, but then we hit a local top and then came back down. So maybe something like this could occur here. So that's what the short-term outlook for Bitcoin holds. So let's take a look at the next one, right? After the short-term outlook, we're going to take a look at the miner revenue. You can see here that the miner revenue has been dropping quite a bit, and currently they hold roughly 1.84 million Bitcoins, which is roughly worth around 29.5 to $30 billion. So there is a ton of, like, although it has dropped significantly over the past few months, there's still a lot of gunpowder that the miners currently hold. So in case, and the most important thing to look at when discussing miners is that there have been 2 miner capitulations, and we're currently in the second miner capitulation. So if the hash rate continues to increase, and yesterday after I did write the article, there was a 3.5% uptrend, 3.5% uptick in Bitcoin difficulty. So as the difficulty keeps rising and hash rate keeps rising, it will become more tough for miners to mine and be profitable, considering the Bitcoin price has been going down, and so far it's dropped 71%. So if the miner capitulation wave, the second wave, continues, then there's a pretty good chance some of the miners will offload their holdings, and that could trigger another downtrend. And if it does, the best place to kind of form a local bottom, or like to find support, is as discussed in this particular chart here, macro bottoms extending from 13.5K to 11.8K or 9K. Apart from 11.9K, right, that seems like a pretty good place to form a bottom, but as shown here in this chart, the 2022 volume point of control is around 9.5K. And interestingly, if you look at the logarithmic regression curve for Bitcoin, which is here, just a sec. Oh, there it is. My bad. Yeah. So the so far there have been 4 cycles, and we're currently in the 4th cycle. Right. This is not based on the 4-year cycle that we usually talk about, but this is the 4-year cycle, which is based on the halving. But this is basically based on purely technicals, a bull run and a bear run, and formation of a bottom completes a cycle. And so far we've seen we are in the fourth cycle, and you can see in each cycle, right, there is an accumulation that occurs here in the green bands, and more often than not, the price usually forms a bottom around the mid to the lower band, right? See here, comes down to the mid one, retest, tries a run up, dead cat bounce, followed by a retest of the lower band over here, and then a run up. Same here. Here, price kind of bottomed along the midline. Then we went up. There was another dead cat bounce. Not sure if you can call this a dead cat bounce, but it was a fluke, a fake bull rally, followed by another retest of the lower trend line perfectly. And now we're currently retesting the mid band of this the green area, which is an accumulation zone. So if we do come down here to the lower band, you can see that it kind of coincides with 11,000 ish, which is really interesting because as shown in this particular chart here, the next support level after 13.5 is 11,898, right? Just a couple $100 difference. So with that in mind, let's take a closer look at how Bitcoin price would react if we were to manually draw the regression bands just for discussion, and then take a look at what's happening here. Right, the lower band comes in roughly around 11,400, 300, and then we have the lower limit at 9.5K. And with that in mind, I feel like over the next couple of days, probably weeks, I think Q1 2023 is when we see this area retested. Right now, either we break this trend that's ongoing here, and maybe there's another retest followed by a dump, or we go like this and then we dump, right? Another reason why 28K is important is, say we assume that the bottom for Bitcoin occurs at 11.9K, which coincides with the lower limit of the regression band and the volume profile level support that I just showed in the previous charts. If you draw a fib from the local top to the potential bottom, you can see 28K comes up as the midpoint. So if the price does rally up to the midpoint, which is 28K, it makes a lot of sense, right? It's a mean reversion rally, but for that mean reversion rally to kind of play out, you have to expect Bitcoin to first form a bottom around 11.8K. Regardless, I feel like 28K is an extremely important level, and that's where we could form a local top. So that basically ends my analysis. And if we were to, just take a look at the entire landscape, right? There's a lot of things happening right now, and I feel like the bottom could occur anywhere between Q1 and Q2. But honestly, I feel like with 2022 coming to an end and inflation, like the Fed still is unsure what they're going to do, and I feel like the bottom, the sooner we have this retest of 11.8K or a breakout above this trend line, the sooner we get to know where the price is going to go next. So from a conservative standpoint, I think we see some sort of a bottom formation in Q1, and then maybe Q3 to Q4 is when we can expect Bitcoin price to retest 30K or 28K, right? As for the bull cycle targets, like assuming the Bitcoin price bottoms here, that's the end of cycle 4 and the start of a cycle 5, in which case we can expect Bitcoin price to form new all-time highs. Now, I'm not saying new all-time highs are going to be formed in 2023. We might very well expect them to form around the end of 24 and midpoint of 2025. But regardless of when it occurs, I feel like these two levels are extremely important, the minus 0.27 and the minus 0.62, right? The first cycle, the next cycle's potential top could occur around $112,000, and the second one could occur around $210,000. So these levels are like, assuming this is the local bottom, right? Use your fib extensions and just use these two levels, and that's what you get. So basically that concludes my whole forecast for 2023. That's what I'm expecting. And as you can see here on Twitter, I'm kind of keeping it simple for 2023. We have three scenarios that we're expecting. Two of them are bullish and one is bearish, and the bearish one expects Bitcoin price to go down to 11.9K. So now basically you know that there are a few important levels that you should pay close attention to, which is 15.5K, 13.5K, 11.9K to the downside, and then 9.5K. And to the upside, you basically have anything above 20K. Like if Bitcoin price sustains above 20K, then expect 25K and 28K, potentially 30K and 31K. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for Bitcoin from a technical perspective. But the on-chain metrics are even more interesting, right? So let's start with okay, let's start with this particular thing, right? We have the 365-day MVRV, which is an indicator that tracks the average profit and loss of investors that purchased BTC over the past year, right? Basically, if the MERV is in the positive region, it oscillates between around the zero line. If the MERV value is positive, it indicates that people are in profit, or the people that purchase Bitcoin are in profit. And if it is in the negative, it indicates that these investors are holding their BTC at a loss, right? As you can see, for the last few cycles, Bitcoin price has kind of bottomed below 40K, 40%, right? Below minus 40% is when major cycle bottoms have occurred. Like if you look at 2018, 2020, and what's happening right now, let's extend it a little. Yep. So you can see 40 is an important level, right? Kind of formed an initial bottom here, then it dipped a little lower and then started rallying. Similar thing happened in 2020, but right now we are around 45 level, and technically the price could dip like a little more lower if it kind of has to stick with the historical levels, right? In 2018, MERV, the 365-day MERV went as low as minus 53%. In 2014, it was 56%. So I'm expecting something similar to play out again as well, which would perfectly fit my narrative of Bitcoin going down to 9.5K. Or yeah, maybe if I'm a bottom around 11.8K, 11.9K, then maybe we will revisit the same level here again at 47K, 47%. So this is one bullish thing that we can expect. Like we're almost at a bottom, but we haven't formed the bottom yet. So we're at the cusp, basically. Right, so let's take a look at the next one, which is the supply distribution for Bitcoin of addresses holding between 100 and hold on, where is it? Yeah, 110,000 BTC. So these whales have basically, they're important because like an accumulation from these whales basically has historically coincided with the price pretty accurately. You can see here, right, when the price rose quite a bit, right, these investors were offloading, and then the price rose regardless, and then finally the price reacted to this selling pressure, whatever, and then the price dropped from the bottom around 35K, 35.3K, and that's when these investors started buying quite a bit, right? So basically they increased their holdings from roughly 15.5K to 15.8K. That is, they accumulated 3,000 BTC, which caused the price to move up from 36.5K to 48K, which was I think around 28%, 30% upswing. And then we have something similar taking place here again, but it's on a different level now. Now the price has gone up from the number of addresses holding the amount of BTC that I just mentioned have gone up from 15.6K to 16K. So that means 400 new addresses holding 100 to 10,000 BTC have been added. That means clearly there's an accumulation happening. And if history were to repeat, as you can see here as well, when there was a massive accumulation, The price, basically Bitcoin price, rose from 41K all the way up to its all-time high at 68K. So I think we're kind of primed. Like, now think about it, right? We have the bullish divergence here on a 3-day time frame or a 1-week time frame, and this one, right? And on top of that, we have the whales accumulating quite a bit of BTC, and then MVRV close to a local bottom formation. All of these signs basically hint that we're close to a bottom and that we could potentially trigger a run up, right? The final piece of the puzzle, in my opinion, is stable coins. And right now you can see I have a bunch of stable coins. We have Circle, we have DAI, we have Tether, we have BUSD, and then finally we have supply of BTC on exchanges. Now, if you look at, except the black line, right, look at every other stable coin. So this line basically represents the number of addresses holding 100,000 to 10 million stable coins, right? And these addresses have, like, they started accumulating quite a bit starting 2nd November, right? That's a little before FTX got into trouble. I think November 2nd is when CoinDesk published the article about trouble and balance sheet. So with that, with this last piece of the puzzle, right, indicating that there are whales increasing their stablecoin holdings, like, it just provides like the proof required that there's been, like, smart money is basically ready to accumulate. Right now, I'm not saying all of this points to the fact that we're gonna rally. Nope, we're not gonna rally right away. It could be some time, but what I'm saying is, if the price does dip down to 9.5K tomorrow, uh, hypothetically speaking, then these whales are basically ready to go. So I'm saying things are extremely bullish after a 71% drawdown. So just be on the lookout for a rally, right? So yeah, that basically concludes my take on Bitcoin. If you enjoyed this analysis, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any doubts, questions, whatever, feedback, please make sure to comment. Have a great day. Peace.